10 questions. And the answer is RuneScape. What is easy to play? RuneScape is known for its simple playstyle. You don't have to mash your keyboard or go crazy on a controller or navigate a complicated interface. You just have to do one thing. Sure, you can also use the arrow keys to move the camera around or the F keys to swap through your inventory faster, but even so, most of the game is right at your fingertips. Your index finger's fingertip. Need to murder a man? Need to loot a man you murdered? Need to sell the loot you murdered off a man? It's just that easy, man. But don't think you're a RuneScape expert just because you can click. To be an expert, you have to do a lot of clicking with accuracy and speed. A lot of clicking. Just so much clicking.
Yeah. Ow. Owie. My finger.
What's changed? RuneScape has never stayed the same. On July 25th, 2017, it went into the Guinness World Records as the most prolifically updated MMORPG video game, with 1,014 updates total. It all started in 2001 by brothers Andrew Paul and Ian Gower, who formed the company Jagex, and under the name RuneScape Classic is where its distinctive gameplay and interface were born. In 2003, the amount of players was growing fast, and they had been working on a new game engine. Bada bing, bada boom. RuneScape 2, or simply RuneScape, was released to the world. This is the version of the game that most people know and refer back to. It was also the version of the game brought back after many people disliked the 2012 update that introduced RuneScape 3 and the infamous new combat system, dubbed the Evolution of Combat. In response to players' responses, Jagex responded by re-releasing a backup of the 2007 version of RuneScape. Its name, Old School RuneScape. Where do people get wrecked? RuneScape is a game that you can play with other people because there's lots of players playing together over the internet, not as themselves, and it's a game. It's an MMORPG, similar to games like World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, and MapleStory. If you don't know what any of these games are, you're probably not a gamer, and that's okay, because in RuneScape, you're not a gamer either. You're a man in search of love. Or perhaps you're a heroic adventurer named Lothrag Brockenar, slaying giant monsters, wearing cool armors, eating delicious foods, wielding epic weapons, and occasionally getting wrecked. But you're not the only one getting wrecked. If we take a look around the wilderness, an area where players can fight other players, you'll see a lot of other people experiencing the same fate. Let's take a closer look and hear what that sounds like.
Here's but a scratch.
Who knew getting wrecked sounded so good? What is unique? RuneScape is not a game that would win an award for having the best graphics. I mean, just take a look for yourself. It doesn't stand out by any means. But what it lacks in visuals and fancy animations, it makes up for with a smooth gaming experience and a unique art direction for pretty much everything. Landscapes, music, items, characters, monsters, quests, and the many animations and emotes you unlock throughout a playthrough. It's simply iconic in just about every way a game can be. It really stays true to the phrase, don't break it if it's fixed. Although it took Jagex a couple tries to realize that. Even after decades and hundreds of better games released throughout the years, RuneScape still has a small but loyal community of approximately 70,000 plus players daily. What is large and complex? RuneScape may look simple on the surface, but under the surface, there's a ton of things to do in this game. There's over 130 quests that you could venture on, ranging in difficulty from novice to intermediate to experienced to master to finally grandmaster. These quests can be as simple as helping a cook find and gather ingredients to bake a cake, to helping a gnome king stop an evil gnome from taking over the world, which is not just one quest, but a series of quests that sees you investigating the roots of a grand tree, finding out that it's dying because of this evil gnome named Gluff, who sets a demon on you, to which you say, no demon, I'm setting myself on you. Demon dies, Gluff goes to jail, and now you've got to figure out where some missing gnomes are, for which you set off to a mysterious, tropical, and deadly island named Buttholes, where the inhabitants are all various races of primates, and to talk to them, you must become them. Now you're a monkey, who must sneak into a zoo, traverse constantly earthquaking tunnels, and slay another demon. Evil gnomes, they love their demons. And would you look at that, you save the missing gnomes. Now you get some stuff, a new island to explore, new sword to wield, and all of this with the completion of just 2 quests. Now that all might have sounded easy to do, but to get to this point you had to train a bunch of skills, and in RuneScape there's a lot of skills to level up. 23 in fact, and each one giving you some sort of benefit, like getting hit harder, hitting things harder, shooting things harder, firebending things harder, moving harder, stealing harder, doing all of these things harder, until eventually you go as hard as you can go. What can you finish? RuneScape is a large game, but it can be completed. With enough work and dedication, you can say, yeah, I've done everything. Yeah, I've seen it all. I'm max, baby. And that point is when you've hit 99 in every skill. If you're efficient, it'll take you around 2,000 hours to accomplish that, which is roughly 83 days. If you do the quick maths, or pull out a calculator, throw in completing every quest, and you're looking at another 100 or so more hours, making it 87 days to max out, give or take years. But that takes a while, and who likes to be efficient all the time? Sometimes it's fun to just hang out and have a good time and hang out. And yeah, I've only had 199, so don't judge me. I like to take my time. What is epic? RuneScape is a chill, relaxing game until you discover the big bad bosses it has to offer. These bosses are all over the place, literally and metaphysically. There's just so much variety. You can go from hunting down a giant mole tunneling under a city's park to fighting the generals of different gods in their own separate dungeons, each with their own trait. This one's good, this one's bad, this one's crazy, and this one's can fly. You can go from fighting tri-headed black dragons to big blue dragons to even bigger dragons that are green and white and have creepy witch nails for some reason, to a giant flying bug that starts out as a spider-looking bug, to a giant spider, but this time it has a face. There's just so much to fight and so many gains to be looted. The question is, what do you do with all those gains once they've been gotten? Take it to the staking arena, of course. This is the staking arena, an ancient coliseum where players can develop habits that probably don't translate well into real life. Here's how it works. You find someone to stake everything you own, fight them, die, lose what you stake, then cry, yell, maybe stop playing forever. Who knows? But don't let that distract you from the fact that it's an amazing source of motivation to go out there and fight even more epic bosses, like this thing. But there's a catch with this one. It doesn't go down with any old weapon like a sword or a bow. To kill it, you have to shoot it with eggs. And not just any old eggs that you'd make a nice omelet with, but huge yellow eggs that have been dipped in poison, covered in spikes, and drenched in lava. Now that's tasty. What has flaws? RuneScape is not impregnable. It's had its fair share of bugs and glitches, many of them taken advantage of, like the duplication glitch in the classic version of the game where players managed to duplicate items, most notably the most valuable item in the game known as a party hat. Blue ones are the most expensive and can go for $5,000 US on the RuneScape black market. Yes, that's a thing. There's also a bug where players could attack and loot other players even in non-combat areas. It was known as the Falador Massacre. Lots of people were banned and lots of people lost items. It was an exciting time, but not a good time for many people. There was also a glitch where players could get past almost any barrier and see parts of RuneScape that had not been made available to the public. These exploits have since been patched, but one is yet to be patched and probably never will be, and that one's called botting. Bots are infamous in RuneScape because they're everywhere. They've been around since the very beginning. Players use them to level up skills or generate gold, sometimes because they're lazy, but usually to sell the account or gold, make that real life shmoney. They have a weird auto-generated looking name, look like this, and don't ever talk. They're probably a bot. Either that, or they're just watching Netflix and want you to leave them alone. It's a 50-50 chance. You should report them anyways. Just to be safe. What is balanced? RuneScape does its best to have a balanced system in its economy, combat, and skills. And for the most part, it does have that. Melee is weak against magic, magic is weak against ranged, and ranged is weak against melee. It's this nice little combat triangle. It's decently balanced until you realize that all forms of combat can be used at the same time. Yeah, by switching into different gear really fast, some players can essentially attack you with every style in rapid succession. These players are known as hybrids, and they can whoop your butt, take your loot, and sell it into the economy, which is also pretty balanced and well executed. To buy and sell things, you originally had to stand around and tell people what you were buying or selling. This would be monotonous and boring and usually would take hours to sell whatever it is you were selling. That is until the introduction of the Grand Exchange, a digital marketplace that spans every world, allowing every tradable good to be bought and sold in real time. Each item has its own street value and merchants can profit on shifts in supply and demand on just about everything. Maybe you want to eat some sharks, but the prices are too high. It's not worth it to buy them just yet, so you decide to fish for them instead. You grab your harpoon and make your way to the water. To get there, there, you use agility to take a shortcut. But uh-oh, you've been running a while and you're tired. So you take a sip from that stamina potion you made earlier to keep running. Now you're there, you can start fishing. A couple seconds pass and you harpoon a shark right in the neck, pick it up with your bare hands and put it in your bag, just like you would in real life. Also like real life, you shouldn't eat it raw. You need to cook it, but to do that you need a fire. So you chop some wood and burn up those logs to make a fire and successfully cook and eat the shark. Now there's no satisfaction level in RuneScape, but if there was, it'd be 99 right now. What is nostalgic? RuneScape is undoubtedly one of the most nostalgic games ever. It was widely popular between the years of 2001 and 2012, with 2006 being the peak of popularity. Just about everyone, from adults in college to teens in high school to kids in elementary, were playing it, or had tried playing it at least once. It was one of the biggest games you could play completely in your browser, without needing to buy anything or install some heavy client. The only thing you could buy was a membership, but even then you didn't have to buy it because the free-to-play version had tons of content already. So many hours of content. It's one of those games that you look back on and just go, ah, those were the days. For those of you currently playing right now, you can say, ah, these are the days. And that's how the answer is RuneScape.
Buying GS.